Yoga. I am Grace. So happy to have you here this morning to practice yoga with. And today we are going to be practicing a floor flow. So we're going to stay on the floor. We're not going to be getting up at all, which is always kind of nice. We usually do a yin day on Wednesday, but we are going to be taking this slow. So it's kind of like a yin floor flow. It's nice to balance when you're doing yoga every day. It's nice to balance yoga with some more effort-based and some practices that are more yin-based and relaxing, because the body appreciates that as you move through. And like I tell you, sometimes the yin practices and the slower practices are actually more powerful in opening up the body than some of the power flows. So don't be don't take the easier, slower paced practices. They can also be very powerful. So I am going to hold on one second. I apologize. Turn on this other camera. So for this nice floor flow, we're going to begin by just sitting in a nice easy pose, nice and comfortably, and beginning to bring the attention to the breath, mindful breathing, breath awareness. And I invite you to bring that breath into the lower belly. So if you can, drop that breath down to the pelvic floor as you inhale all the way down. Feel that lower belly expand. And as you exhale, feeling that belly come in towards the spine. And let's just sit together in breath awareness for a few breaths. Not changing the breath, just becoming aware of the breath. Nothing else exists except the breath. Just noticing as you sit here, focusing your concentration on the breath and the breath alone. You may hear some sounds around you. Just noticing. Without your body, you still exist. You are simply consciousness, aware of life arising around you. And let's move that breath into 3-part yogic breath. So on the next inhale, we'll inhale into the belly, the ribs, and all the way up into the chest. Pause the breath for a moment and let's reverse it the same way. Exhaling the chest, the ribs, and the belly. And continuing a few on your own, 3-part yogic breaths. Like a wave, inhaling into the belly, the ribs, the chest. Pausing at the top and exhaling down, chest, ribs, belly. And allowing the breath to come back into breath awareness. And let's scan the inner being, noticing what's there. The inner aliveness, sensations. You may feel the heartbeat. Bring your awareness in. Tone that muscle of noticing how you're feeling inside energetically, that felt sense of your being. How does your heart feel? Your etheric heart. Noticing a spaciousness inside. Always bringing that attention in deeper and deeper. Toning that muscle. Kingdom of heaven dwells within. Our true self dwells within. Our connection to the God of our understanding is found within. So be wise to practice pratyahara daily by turning away from all the distractions in the external and spending time inside, deeper and deeper within. Basking in that emotional body, that manamaya kosha, what is going on there? And allow it to simply be fully felt without changing it. Keep the breath in the belly. Bask in those emotions. Try to avoid the temptation to describe or label or title them. That moves you into the static of thought and out of the felt sense of the emotion. Let's stay in the depths of the emotion, in the felt sense of our being. Basking in that nectar. Within all beings is an ecstatic nectar. Always available at all times. Just need to find the silence, the inner silence, to experience it. And take this moment now to set an intention into your consciousness. Set that seed of intention into that fertile ground. And pat that seed in there with gratitude and releasing it as this or better, this or better, this or better. And gently and kindly opening your eyes. Happy you're here. And let's move into a couple warm-ups. Let's move into our Baddha Konasana. So first with our Baddha Konasana, we're going to bring our feet together. This is our butterfly pose, also called bound angle. It has a few names, bound angle. And let's just kind of rock back and forth. Maybe doing a little cat and cow in our Baddha Konasana as our hips are opening. Feel that flexion and expansion of the spine, and taking your time, noticing sensations and enjoying the sensations in your body. And then we're going to move into circles. The whole upper body circling around that pelvic area. And again, going slow enough to notice sensations and knowing you can always stop at a spot that has some nice sensation and massage it by Just rocking very gently back and forth on that spot, opening it up. We're not in any hurry. Just taking our time, keeping that breath flowing. Using that Ujjayi breath if you like for a focus. Let's go the other direction in these circles. Fully present to the sensations. Keeping the breath flowing. Enjoying this gift of simply moving in the body, knowing this body is not you. It's an extension, it's a creation. Your infinite intelligence has created through however your understanding is of how the body is created. But you are the pure consciousness that animates through it. You are the indestructible, eternal, pure consciousness that animates through this body. It's possible you have animated through many, many, many bodies, many dimensions. So this is not just the one body for you. This is not your identity. You are not your body. You're not your thoughts. There are thoughts out there and thought spheres. You can tune into thoughts just like tuning into a radio. And you're not your emotions. The emotions is part of your Manamaya kosha. That's being tuned into emotions too. You can choose emotions. You can choose thoughts. And you can choose to use this tool, this temporary tool, our infinite eternal consciousness has for just a blink of an eye, and use it for empowered purposes, things that inspire you, that make a difference. And knowing the whole time that it's not you, but it's a tool you have. It's like a vehicle you get in your car. It helps you get around, and you use it and you take good care of it. Make sure it has its oil changes, and you make sure that you get good gas in it, and you make sure to give it a bath sometimes and get it in. Take care of your vehicles, your bicycle, your car, whatever it is you use to get around. Right now I ride my bike a lot. The weather's getting better. Let's go into a little side stretch. Opening up to the side and breathing into that side that's stretching. Still doing this all in Baddha Konasana, and if easy pose is easier for you, we'll go to the other side. Breathing into the side, we're opening up. And coming back to center. Let's bring the hands to the feet and let's go into our Baddha Konasana. So first let's flap those butterfly wings. Let's release and relax those legs a little bit. And starting to slow them down. And then inhale as you lengthen the spine, reaching the head up towards the sky. And then exhale, hinging forward. So the body's coming forward, and find your edge here. So hinge as far as you can and then find your edge, and then just rest on this edge with a couple breaths. You can engage those bandhas if you'd like. That Mula Bandha, Jarandala Bandha, it's a little hard to engage that Uddiyana Bandha in this position. But you can be aware of it, that's there. See if you can hinge just a tiny bit, maybe a micro bit more forward. Beautiful. And then let's take a couple breaths here. And then on your next inhale, coming all the way back up. Beautiful job. Let's extend those legs out in front of us and flop them around. Little windshield wiper action. Good job. Let's come to the front of our mat and up onto our knees. So we're up onto our knees. Move into a little camel. So the first thing we're going to do for our Ustrasana camel is we're going to tuck that tailbone under. So as we tuck the tailbone under, it opens up these lumbar spines. So when we do bend back, they're not crunching. And then bring the hands to the small of the back, bringing the elbows coming in towards each other. It's that line of energy. And then as you move those hips forward a little bit, open up the chest, bring the head slightly back and align with the spine into a nice open camel. So the hips should be over the knees. And take in some deep breaths here, feeling that lower back, feeling the opening of the chest. If you'd like to challenge yourself more, you can come down to your heels, or if you'd like to come up onto the tippy toes, which bring those heels up a little, and bring the hands down to the heels, and then moving that pelvis back over the knees, and breathe. One more breath. And gently coming up, bringing those hands back to the small of the back. Release the feet if they were up. And let's move into a child's pose. Opening up those knees a little bit, bringing the head down to the mat. Arms can be up in front or alongside the body. And just rest in child's pose for a few breaths, bringing all your attention, your awareness to your own body, your own being, your own heart. Spend some time with yourself. And gently coming up. And let's bring those feet forward. I'm going to move into single leg forward fold. So let's take that right leg, bend that knee, and bring the right foot right to rest on the inner thigh of the left leg. And we're going to inhale as we lengthen up towards the sky, and exhale, hinging at that hip. So this hip is the only thing moving in my body other than my lips. And when you get to that point where you're on your edge, those back leg muscles tell you that's about enough. Let's just rest here for a nice deep breath. And then see if you can hinge a little bit deeper, just maybe even a micro movement deeper, just by holding that edge for a breath. And then when you get to the place where you're at your edge and your leg muscles are saying that's probably good enough, allow the spine to round. You can bring the arms down to the mat, depending on how flexible where you're at. Just allow the spine to round and relax into this nice forward fold. And if you'd like to give your sacred holy feet a little massage, you can do that. Remembering this is a divine temple. This body is the living temple. Your divine awareness, that which is aware in you, that is aware that you exist, animates through this temple. So massaging these feet as the holy feet that they are. And taking one more breath here in this nice deep forward fold. And gently coming up. Beautiful job. Let's go to the other side. So we're going to bring the right leg out. I'm going to bend that left knee and rest the left foot on the inner thigh of the right leg. And inhale, lengthening, and then exhale, folding forward. And find that edge, and then sit on this edge with a nice, deep, long breath. And then see if you can hinge maybe even just a micro bit more deeper into this forward fold. And if not, it's okay. Just allowing, inviting the body to open. And then when you get to your final edge, allow the spine to round. Allow the head to look in towards the knee. Massaging that foot if you like. That holy foot. This holy temple. And flexion, extend that foot if you like. And gently and kindly coming up. Beautiful job. And let's bring both feet together, and we're going to bring the knees up. And we're going to balance back on our sits bones. And eventually we're going to be balancing back onto our sacrum. And so we're going to move let's first move into our balancing bear. So we're going to do 1 foot at a time. So you can take the outside of the left foot and just extend that out. If you'd like to practice, you can lift that right foot up to help you kind of practice for when we go to both sides. Put it down and lift it up, and just occasionally just check that balance. And relaxing that foot down, and let's go to the other side, taking the outside of the right foot. Some people like to grab the big toe with the peace fingers. You can do that too. I like taking the outside of the foot and opening that up, feeling that balance if you can, every once in a while. Opening up the hip and bring it back down. Then I invite you to grab both feet, the outside of both feet, or use those peace fingers to grab the toes. Balance if you can. If you can balance here. You're on your sits bones, your sacrum. You're just balancing back here. And then opening up those legs. And see if you can get them a little straighter and a little straighter. We don't want to lock them, obviously, in our balancing bear. And find a point in front of you to gaze at, your drishti, to help your balance and breathe. One more breath here. And releasing down. Beautiful job. We're going to go into boat now. So it's also a balance. So we're going to stay balancing on these sits bones. So we're balancing back here. And I invite you to go into half boat first. So with our half boat, we're going to lift the legs and we're going to bring the hands behind the hamstrings. And the shins and the calves can be parallel to the floor. This is a half boat, and you can inhale and lengthen that spine. Make it nice and straight here. And then to move into your full boat, if you'd like, and you can always come back to this half boat, we're going to extend the legs out straight, the arms to the side, and breathe. Find that drishti. You're back a little more on your sacrum now. One more breath. And then let's go into half boat as we come down. And releasing back down. Feet. Beautiful job. We're going to scoot up to the front of the mat, and we're going to move into our spinal rocks. If you don't have a nice cushion, just come down so you're laying on your back. And eventually laying on your back. And we're going to have the feet on the mat, the knees are up, and we're going to move into a bridge pose. So bring in the hands alongside the body. We're going to move into half bridge first. So we're going to press into the feet, lift those that pelvis and hips up into halfway. And just taking a nice deep breath here, noticing sensation. Enjoying moving in your body. Doing the best you can. If you can only hold for one breath, if you can only hold a little or do half the pose, that's okay. Coming down one vertebrae at a time, nice and slowly, till you feel the lumbar, the sacrum, and the tailbone just relax. And then pressing into the feet and lifting those hips halfway. Again, and noticing that sensation. Very rarely are our hips in this position. It feels good. Breathing into sensation. And on our next exhale, coming down again, one vertebrae at a time, from the upper thoracic to the lower thoracic. Beautiful job. And then this next time, we're going to come up into a bridge. So we're going to arch that back. If that doesn't work for you, you can either put a block under your sacrum for a supported bridge or stay in your half bridge. Pressing into the feet, lifting those hips, arching the back. And then we're going to bring the shoulders underneath us and clasp those hands underneath us. We're going to watch that the knees don't spread out. We're going to try to keep those knees hip width apart. Coming up into our bridge. Adjust the chin so it's comfortable. And let's breathe here. One more nice deep breath in your bridge. And as you exhale, releasing the hands, releasing those shoulders, coming down again, one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful job. And when you're all the way down onto the mat and your lumbar, your sacrum, and your tail have released, bring those knees into the chest. And let's rock back and forth and release and relax that lower back. Nice job. Beautiful job. And let's hold on to that right knee and let's let that left leg come out flat onto the mat. Beautiful job. And let's open up that right knee so it's a little away from our ribs and more out towards the armpit. And as you tuck the right leg in towards the armpit, towards the body, press that left leg into the earth. So you'll feel 2 lines of energy with this knees to chest. And breathe. One more breath. Beautiful job. And let's release that right knee. Let's bring that left knee in, hugging that left knee into the chest. Right leg is straight, pressing into the floor. Left knee is coming in towards the armpit. 2 lines of energy. And press. And breathe. Bring in that prana, that life force into the body. You can gently engage those bandhas. Beautiful job. And let's come back to center. Let's bring both feet down to the mat. And let's take that right leg up. Let's rest the right ankle just by the left knee. And we're going to move into our supine pigeon or 4 pose. And so we're going to lift that left foot off the mat, bring the left knee in towards the body, bring those hands behind the left knee, more on this hamstring, and begin to pull it in towards the body gently, noticing sensation, finding your gentle edge, and breathe. If you'd like to take that left leg and extend it straight up into a full 4, you can do that. Pulling that left leg in towards the body to that gentle edge, playing that edge where you're noticing sensation, yet we're not forcing or overextending. One more nice deep breath. And releasing the leg. Bringing that left foot flat on the floor. Knee is up. We're going to take the right leg back down. Right leg is on the mat. Let's go to the other side. Bringing that left ankle to rest on the right knee. Let's lift that right foot up. Bring the right knee towards us, clasping our hands behind the right leg and tucking that right leg in towards our body. Opening the hip on the left side now. Noticing sensation, breathing into the sensation. Keep your body healthy, flexible. You must use your body or you lose your body. And if you want to straighten that right leg up into a full 4, continuing to pull the right leg in towards the body on that gentle edge where you're noticing sensation, yet you're not overextending. One more nice deep breath here. Beautiful job, and release and relax both legs. And let's bring the knees into the chest and rock back and forth. And let's take that left leg and extend it out straight. And we're going to take the right leg, foot is on the mat, knee is up, and we're going to come up onto that left side just an inch as we move into supine spinal twist. And then lift that right knee up towards the body and then bringing it over to the left. Use the left hand to guide the right leg over, extending the right arm out 90 degrees and twisting your head to gaze out over the right fingertips. Nice deep twist and breathe. And releasing that right knee, coming back to center. And we're going to switch the legs. So you're going to extend that right leg out. Left knee is up, coming up onto that right side, just an inch. Protect that lower back as we twist. And then bend the left leg, bringing it over to the right. Right hand on the left leg as guides it over. Feeling that nice, beautiful twist in your body, that spinal column. Taking the left arms and extending them out 90 degrees and turning your head to gaze out over the right fingertips. And sinking in with some nice deep breaths into this beautiful twist. Noticing the sensations in your body. And releasing the leg, coming back to center. Beautiful job. Back to center, and let's bring those knees into the chest again and rock back and forth. And let's bring those knees up. Just feel that nice inversion. You can flex and extend those feet. And enjoy this little vacation you're providing your veins with an inversion. Every day, all day, as we stand and move around, the veins are having to pump very hard to get the blood up our legs and into the heart. And especially if we're not active, they have to work even harder. And this gives them a little break. And I invite you to pull both legs in towards the body slightly, noticing that sensation. And then releasing the legs. And then moving into half shoulder stand if you know how to do that. If half shoulder stand is too much for you, just bringing those legs up straight up is the equal vacation on the veins. So don't feel bad. If you want to move into half shoulder stand, we're going to lift those hips up, bring the hands to the small of the back, and have the feet so they're right above the head if you can. And breathe. And if you'd like, we can take one foot down to the floor at a time. Haven't done this in a little while. And just come towards the floor. If you're not able to go to the floor, that's okay too. You could go to the side as well. Just having fun and playing around in the body. And then if you'd like to hinge over into your plow, the feet may or may not come to the floor. I don't have my feet come to the floor anymore because I have learned that that puts pressure on the lower back. So I can bring the feet to the floor, but I choose not to. And then gently curling those legs in to the body, close, and rolling back down. Beautiful job. And we're going to move into fish. It's a nice flow right into fish, extending the legs straight out. Palms are flat on the mat, so I'm going to bring a palm under each butt cheek, a hand underneath the butt cheeks. And then I'm going to scoot those elbows in towards the body, nice and snugly close. I'm going to press into the elbows, lifting the chest and the head up off the mat. And then gently coming down, so just the crown of the head is on the mat. So this is creating a nice back bend in the upper chest area. And breathe. On your next inhale, pressing into those elbows, lifting the head up, straightening the head and the body, and coming flat on your back. Releasing those hands from underneath you, and let's bring those knees into the chest again for a nice little counter pose. Just releasing everything. And while we're here, let's go into a supine Baddha Konasana, bringing those feet together if you can, holding the outsides of the feet and rocking back and forth in your butterfly. Beautiful. Let's open up those legs if you can. Doing a nice stretch, having the knees bent as much as you need to. Breathe. And then let's bend those knees, keeping those knees out, kind of aligned with your armpits. Having the feet so they're facing up towards the sky. Hands are wrapped around the outer edge of the feet. And we'll go into our baby as we gently pull those legs and those knees in towards the armpit, feeling that beautiful hip opener. The lumbar spine are resting on the mat. We're not lifting the butt up. Just feeling that nice hip opener. And breathe. Bring in that prana. And engage that Mula Bandha and that Jarandala Bandha, the pelvic floor and tongue on the roof of the mouth. Finding your edge. And then releasing that and just kicking around into your baby for a little bit. Just rolling around, enjoying, embodying yourself in your baby pose, your happy baby, Ananda Balasana. This is why babies do it. They are getting themselves embodied, an infinite spirit. Pure conscious awareness is finding out, what is this I have got myself into? It's a body. I can move my legs by my pure will. Move my hands. How miraculous is that? And so they learn to embody in this way. And then releasing the feet to the floor, and we're going to move into our releases. So feet are flat on the floor, the knees are up, feet are hip width apart, knees are hip width apart. And we're going to move into our hula first. So feeling those hips swivel.
So the sacrum is flat on the mat. Nothing lifts up off the mat. You're going to feel one hip drop down towards the heel, while the other hip is coming up towards the armpit. And then you're going to switch and allow the opposite hip to go down towards the heel and the opposite hip to come up towards the armpit. And you're swiveling on that sacrum, feeling that nice movement. It affects the whole pelvic area. It feels so good. Fully present to the beautiful sensations. We're moving slower now. We're in our warm down, getting ready for our savasana. Nice, slow, repetitive movements. Some final releases. Keeping the breath flowing in the belly naturally. Really enjoying the sensations you're feeling in your body, whatever they are. Never forcing, but allowing the body to open. Move in ways it may not normally move. And coming back to center neutral. We're going to move into hip pointers. So we're going to take that either hip just pointed up towards the sky. So that butt cheek is going to lift up off the mat, and you're going to feel that hip pointing up towards the sky. Opposite butt cheek is rooted into the mat, and then releasing down and going to the other side. So only one butt cheek is lifting up at a time. Nice and slowly, we're adding a little twist. Keeping the breath flowing, fully immersed and engaged in the sensations in your body. If your mind goes into thinking, come back to sensations. We're embodying ourselves into the body, into the present moment. Keeping the breath flowing. And coming back to center. Beautiful job. And let's move into some cat-cow on the floor. So you'll go into your cat by pressing the small of the back into the earth. The tailbone tucks under a little bit. This is flexion of your spine. And then as you move into cow, you're going to feel the small of your back, that lumbar spine arch up off the mat. Tailbone is pointing down into the earth now. And this is extension of your spine. And so moving back and forth into flexion and extension, nice and slowly, noticing sensation, finding your own pace, keeping the breath flowing. And even if your back doesn't lift off the mat in your cow, you feel the spine lifting up off the mat. And then coming back to center, finding that pelvis come back to center, neither flexed or extended. And let's walk those feet. Knees are still up. Let's just walk the feet away from each other, further apart from each other till they hit the outer edges of your yoga mat. Knees are up. And let's drop one knee at a time down into the center. Nice. Again, slow, repetitive movements. You're just dropping one knee at a time down into the center and finding your gentle edge, never forcing, and finding your pace. Nice, slow, repetitive movements. Noticing sensations as you move through this pose, this release. And coming back to center. And let's walk those feet back together. And let's drop those knees both over to one side or the other. Let's lift the top knee up. Nice, and slowly bringing that over to the other side, allowing the bottom leg and knee to follow. Or if you prefer to just windshield wiper those legs, just make sure to move slowly, mindfully, whichever way feels more nurturing for you. Keeping the breath flowing, nice, slow, repetitive movements. Noticing sensation in your body. Staying in the felt sense rather than the thinking mode. Yoga is a little break from thinking. And one more time on either side. And coming back to center. Getting yourself ready for Savasana. I like to always do a final hug of the knees into the chest. Roll around and release and relax that lower back, pelvic area. And stretching those legs out, the arms. You can flop those feet out. You can flop the arms out. And moving into a nice deep Savasana. Feeling the body become heavy. Being drawn towards the earth. Feeling the bones being drawn towards the earth. And with every breath, you feel the body release tension, release any holding of tension, micro holding in the muscles. Every breath, you feel the body sink a little deeper into the earth, let go a little more of the tension. And you begin to feel like those babies who are asleep and are so heavy to pick up. Your body is just relaxed into the earth. You feel the body may even be creating a little indentation, like when you're laying on the beach and you just sink into the earth. Allowing all the systems in the body to relax. Bones and muscles, the heart, the respiratory system, the endocrine system, circulatory system, and allowing that nervous system to relax. Brain and spinal column to deeply relax. Allow the entire body to sink into relaxation and silent stillness. Beginning to breathe into the belly, nice and slowly coming back. I'm going to invite you while you're on your back to return your consciousness to that intention you set. While you're relaxed and your body's still, bring yourself back to that intention. Reminding yourself of that intention that you set at the beginning of practice. Sealing that in with love, with consciousness. And allow those emotions to stir through you, that smile on your face that you feel as this is true. Here now, you have this intention fully manifested. We have to organize the molecules and the atoms by seeing it first in our mind, vividly, feeling the emotions of having it. And then it has to manifest out in the physical. If it is in our highest good, this or better. Wiggling the fingers and the toes, stretching out the body. When you're ready, rolling over to one side or the other. And gently coming up to a seated position. And I invite you to scan the body. Take this time as you're sitting up, this final scan of your being and noticing how you feel inside. Moving into pratyahara, the inner sensations, the inner aliveness. The inner vibrancy. Noticing the emotional body. Maybe even noticing any shifts or differences from when you began your practice. I'm going to do a little drum for you. Just allow your body to receive the vibrations, and we'll see if a spontaneous chant arises. Thank you for joining me for Ecstatic Yoga this morning. Please go to Ecstatic Yoga to check out our yoga teacher trainings. We are opening up our fall teacher training soon. We're already halfway full from people who didn't make it into the spring, and some people who requested from this spring training. So look out our classes and training. Look into our yoga teacher training. I am Grace. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love.
of light, of truth, and of peace. When I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, we are one. Namaste. Wishing you a most beautiful and most blessed day.